actively involved in this area as well. So I loved what you just said. You've said so many important and wise things, Leslie. One of them is the idea that very often the addiction problem, the abuse near, and you see trash. You think there's never anything good. You'll never value to anything. So you take the drugs, you take the alcohol, whatever it is, to numb the reality of what you're dealing with. As you said, it's a symptom. It's not the problem. And people think, oh, they're just down there. They're doing their next trick because they got to get their neck fixed. It's this horrible, vicious cycle that has to be broken. So if a woman says, I want out, do you have to put her, and we're not giving away any trade secrets here because I'm not putting anybody at risk, but do you have to put them in a safe house for a while to protect them, particularly if we know that the addiction has to be dealt with first so that the mind can be clear to start making right choices?
I get them into detox ASAP. I get them into detox and the devil a foothold. They need to go get medically detoxed. And once they get detoxed and get some rest and can get the fog lifted.
The victim in all of this. What do we need to do to not only change opinion in the court of law, but in the court of public opinion? How do we turn this around so that we understand that, again, nobody says, this is the path I want to follow. I'm going to live my best life ever by being a prostitute. So what do we need to do to turn that around so we begin to understand when we talk about trafficked, no one chooses this. They are a pawn in a multi-billion-dollar game. How do we turn this around?
The thing is, if you're told something repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly, you believe that. You actually believe that. I said, when I got away from my pimp, I still was out there selling myself. Because I was not doing something different if I didn't know how. The darkness has to keep a hold on you. The mind is powerful, and it can have you believing anything it needs for you to believe in order for you to survive. We have to get in and break that. We have to get in and show them they don't believe the lies. You are someone. You have to get in there and show them the possibilities. Not talk the talk, but you got to walk the walk. And you have to hold them by their hand and pull them out. Because that's what my mind told me. Drugs and alcohol numbed me out. It was everybody else's fault, not mine. See how I was allowing myself to stay a victim? No. We have to get in there and reassure them what's going on is not their fault. We have to show them what happened and how it happened. A lot of stuff is hidden subconsciously, it's hidden. But it needs to be revealed so they can see it. They didn't choose this. The issues that they had chose this.
You challenge us toward the end of your book, When Angels Fight, to really do some soul searching. And you ask this question, do you think you're ready to help? And I'm so glad you did, because it's really asking the reader to do a kind of personal inventory on whether or not they're willing to step into this darkness like you do that. We started our conversation by you openly acknowledging that this is spiritual warfare. You also say this, you say the work is hard, heartbreaking, and exhausting. It takes a strong, empathetic, non-judgmental person to work with these victims. I want to come back and I want to ask you how you get back into the system and you lose contact or their life is taken away. How do you cope? And again, teach us, if we feel that God is pulling us to join you in those forces, to be able to be those angels who fight, what are some of the other things we need to ask ourselves before we do it? Because this is, I'm going to use the word, this is demonic warfare. And boy, I tell you what, cowards need not apply. You need to understand how intense this warfare is. Back after this.
Established, I want to say that the home and the marriage relationship is supreme of all human relationships. Your relationship to your mate should come before your business. Your relationship to your mate should come before your pleasure. Your relationship to your mate should come before your friends. The Bible teaches that when one man and one woman come together at the marriage altar and consummate the marriage act, that they become one flesh, not to be put asunder. Marriage is not a 90-day contract or a 90-day option. It is a lifetime contract.
And ask, what is your motive?
People like you, God raises up warriors like you, and then you can say to the church, hey, come on, we can't do this by ourselves, we need some more help here. But I love also that the most important thing is that, particularly in this particular area, you cannot be judgmental, and you tell us what not to say, what not to ask. Things like, why didn't you just leave, or why are you doing this, or why don't you make better choices? That's why your story is so important. And I want to encourage you, Leslie, because when people hear how you didn't wake up one morning saying, I know what I'm going to do, that it was one horrible thing after another, that this guy at 15, you're 15, those are still babies in my mind, and this guy is grooming you to be a prostitute and you don't even know it, and the next thing you know, this guy's threatening you, everybody that matters to you in your life, your mom, your son, your brother, your sister, I'm going to kill you if you ever try to stop doing what I'm telling you to do right now. It's fear, it's self-loathing, and the last thing you need is for somebody to come along and judge. Where are your accusers, Jesus said to the woman caught in the act of adultery. I know not, Lord, neither do I condemn you. That's right.
That is the message I want everybody to hear tonight. As myself, I'm traveling to Washington, D.C. to represent for all of you who have been out here and abused like me. Okay? I'm tired of being abused. And I've been from here to Florida, and I have helped people on the side of the road. I have stopped and helped people down on their luck living out of their vehicle. And it's just a disgrace, and it's disgusting to me to think that there are so many people out here that we're all good people. And we've been demonized by the government and the state, which we all know that Lucifer has had his hands in politics for a long, long time. But I myself have been exploited for my whole freaking life since I was 12 years old with human trafficking, and it went into sex trafficking and exploitation, as well as labor trafficking. At 12 years old, it started with that. And it went into it with the carnival business. It started from one end and it continued. And I'm here to tell you that I'm proud to say I'm a survivor. And it's just like being on drugs. They say you're in recovery or you're recovering. No, you're either done or you're not. My daughter, Brianna, I was threatened in 2005, and I've been telling everybody. And look at what happened to me and Bree. Look at everything that's happened to us, and we're here to tell about it. I want to mention also that along with being threatened, I have gone obsolete to the government and the state. For some reason, they are asphyxiated on trying to deplete me. And when I tell you that, what I'm saying is 0217666. They tried to shut me out. They depleted all of my Social Security records out of the Montpelier office. Then they depleted the latest records, but I have copies of all of them. And at the number of the client ID, it changed from being the number that it was to client ID 0217666. Who is labeling me? See what we see and see what we know, and that's why I know they are still after me. And it just seems odd and strange to me that they keep on trying to systematically, biasly shut me out. So what else? No other choice but to go to DC. So, yeah, I'm out here. I'm running my car. I got plenty of heat. Me, Gypsy, and Jesus. We're going to be fine. And we're going to do what it takes to make sure that we are set free from all the frivolous acts, all the condemnation, and all of the discrimination that comes towards me on a daily basis. Look, it took 3 males standing outside my door to intimidate me. It didn't intimidate me, it heightened my anxiety. And they all heard And that's why, what? I'm not playing with the Maine courts. I'm tired of all of these color of law frivolous acts with all the police and all of the attorneys and all of the judges. It's time that we just say the heck with it all and follow me. Headed to DC. Stay with me. Follow me. YouTube. I'm going to start posting at daylight. You're going to see. There's a change that needs to be made. And you can either join me, follow me. Don't try to call me. I'm not rolling like that. But you can message me. Other than that, all I ask that you really do is say a prayer. Say a prayer for everybody, including me. Good night.